All right, what's up? What is up? I haven't been on live here for quite a while, and got to get out and take a walk today. Get my exercise in before the rain starts coming down. In fact, I think I'm gonna go over to the business center so I can get on the computer. Still haven't gotten my new laptop in yet. I'm actually supposed to have it by this weekend, I believe. This coming weekend, so we'll see. But anyway, welcome to the Ken Jackson Experience. Oh, man. Hold on one second. I had to get my key fob so I can get into the business center. So hopefully everybody's having a good day. I was on earlier on TikTok because of our new aircraft carriers that's under control. Our new aircraft carrier construction at this time, CVN-81. It was slated to be named the USS Doris Miller. Doris Miller was a hero of Pearl Harbor, Black American sailor who was credited with saving countless lives by manning an aircraft, anti-aircraft gun and shooting down a number of Japanese torpedo planes and Zeros. And, as I said, CVN-81, which is under construction now, was slated to be named after him. Bona fide American hero. Well, Donald Trump decided that the ship should be named after him. And that's what's happening now. Now, the Navy won't comment on this, but several very credible reports have already come out in regards to this, and questions are being asked. I only have one question. How in the hell are we going to put the name of a 5-time draft-dodging coward, 34-time convicted felon, adjudicated sexual predator on the name of one of our most powerful capital warships? As far as I'm concerned, Donald Trump's name shouldn't be on anything federal. Not a building, not a motherfucking rowboat, library, or any goddamn thing for that matter. So I'm not only disgraced about it, because I feel like, I really feel like they've gone too far with this one. They've definitely gone too far. And so I'm speaking out about it. Definitely speaking out about it, because it's an embarrassment. It's an absolute embarrassment that they're going to do this. Oh man. So anyway, like I said, my new laptop's not in yet, so that I can complete the final upgrade to my production studio. But we're all set for outside. Actually, we're going to start getting ready to go out to some events that I mentioned a couple of weeks ago. Some music festivals that are coming up, some conferences that are coming up that I definitely want to be at. We're going to be doing some man on the street type interviews, and so I'm very excited. We finally got settled into the new location, and still a few tweaks that I need to do to the room. to make it sound better. But for the most part, we're ready to go. I have been streaming from my iPhone, which is where I'm streaming from now, actually. We've been using that setup indoors as well. But I'm fully excited about switching back over to my normal studio setup. We got some new gear that we picked up recently to make our production capability a little bit stronger. And again, I'm just excited to get started. So today, though, I'm here in the business center here at the complex that I live at. And we're going to, I got to get online and try to line up a few other things that I need, furniture-wise, you know, and you know, like a couple of small items to make it a little bit more homey where I'm at now. Wow, you know, I'm still in Fort Pierce, still here in South Florida. I love South Florida. I really didn't like it that much when I first moved here, 1994. I've been here since 94. Actually, since late 93, I've been here. Didn't think I actually didn't move here then. I actually provided transportation for my sister to get down here with my dad at the time. And I just ended up staying, you know. Florida kind of traps you like that. You know, you come for a visit and then you know, it's like quicksand. You get stuck, you know what I mean? But it's all good, man. It's been an amazing ride the last 31 years I've been here now. All of my children were born and raised here. You know, so I got roots. I had roots here anyway because my dad's side of the family is from here. So I guess, you know, you could say this is where, you know, the Jackson lineage started at. And my grandmother's side of the family, we trace as far back as Georgia. And I believe, no, you know what? They were out of Florida too, actually. My dad's side of the family was out of the Pahokee area, right out west of here around Lake Okeechobee. And my grandmother's side of the family was from the Fort Lauderdale area. So, so we have deep roots here in Florida, which is, I guess, why, you know, eventually I migrated here myself, you know. But it hasn't been bad. You know, Florida politically is a nightmare. You know, Republicans have had a long hold on Florida. Hopefully that's going to change when the midterms come up this November. But, you know, as far as everything else, the weather is awesome. It's awesome. Even when, listen, even when it is hell hot outside, I still wouldn't trade Florida weather for anything. People often ask me, you know, am I worried about hurricanes? Hell nah. I've never worried about a hurricane. And the reason is because hurricanes just don't show the fuck up. You know, we usually have, you know, weeks ahead of time to make plans and to prepare, you know. In fact, I think the shortest notice we've ever had was about a week, you know, when one actually formed up right off the coast. But again, you know, that's a week of being able to say, you know what, am I going to stay or am I going to go? But I was born in California. I didn't grow up there. I actually grew up in New Jersey, but I did live in California briefly after I got out of the military. And it just took one earthquake for me to decide, nah, I'm not staying here, not at all. Because earthquakes just start happening. There's no warning. You know what I'm saying? 1 minute everything's all good, and the next minute the motherfucking world is shaking. I couldn't get with that. That's something I could never get used to at all. And I've traveled all across this country. I've been to every state in this country multiple times. All 50 states I've been to multiple times. And those western states, you can have all that shit. They got volcanoes, the ground shakes all the time. I don't know, it's just a disaster-riddled place, out on the West Coast. I remember, driving out west and people always talk about how beautiful the Rocky Mountains are. And oh my God, the mountains are so, breathtaking. Those are fucking volcanoes, people. They blow up sometimes. Did y'all forget about Mount St. Helens? And now there's a lot of volcanoes around the entire Ring of Fire that are waking up that haven't, seen activity in centuries, but now they're coming to life again. And I know it's a part of the earthly cycle that, eventually volcanoes are going to erupt. And you can't predict that shit. They just happen. Yeah, the ground might rumble a little bit before, a major eruption, but there's some that you may not get that warning. Like Yellowstone. Do any of you realize that Yellowstone Park is a massive volcano? They call it a super volcano. I didn't learn that until I was an adult. And I've driven across Yellowstone many times in my life, not knowing that I was driving across the caldera of a massive volcano, because contrary to popular belief, all volcanoes aren't those cone-shaped mountains that you see on TV. And there are several super volcanoes around the world in which they're just flat ground. You can drive across, but you're on top of one because you got geysers and hot springs and shit like that going off. You know what I'm saying? I've been to Alaska. Alaska's beautiful. Mountains. Anywhere where there are mountains is where massive earthquakes have occurred, because that's what made the mountains, was those fucking earthquakes. You know what I mean? A lot of people really don't think about shit like that. And listen, don't get me wrong. I know some sort of massive earth-shattering disaster could happen anywhere on the planet. That's real. I mean, we started having earthquakes here in Florida recently. Small, magnitude 4 type quakes, which, California wouldn't even feel that shit. They would think that's a truck driving by. But let me tell you, Florida is not the place to be. If we ever have a massive earthquake in Florida, we're all done, because Florida ain't nothing but a big sandbar. All of this shit will be underwater. You know what I'm saying? So I guess it's kind of dumb of me to think that I'm a little bit safer here, but mentally I feel safer because earthquakes are not a normal thing. Now, one thing that we do have to worry about here in Florida is a massive tsunami headed our way. And I live within a mile of the beach of the Atlantic Ocean. And all the way across on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, I believe it's in the Canary Islands, there's an island, a volcanic island, that basically cracked in half. and the western half of that island is expected to slide off into the sea any time now. And they say that if that happens, it's going to send a massive tsunami across the Atlantic Ocean, and the east coast of the United States is in danger. And if it happens, with my luck, it'll happen in the middle of the night, and then by the time I hear about it, we'll only have a couple of hours, if that much, to get the fuck away from the coastline. But they're saying that the tsunami that it could cause would wash across the entire state. That's not fucking cool either. And we live deep into Florida. We're down here in South Florida, so it's not like we'd be able to really get away. Probably the best thing that we could do is probably, drive west as far as we can, hopefully make it to the West Coast and get on a boat and continue going west. Because if we go north, we're not going to make it, But you know what? I'm not going to sit here and worry about doom and gloom like that. Because I do feel like at least if that does happen, we do have a little bit of time to make preparations as to what we're going to do. I thought about buying a couple of those tsunami balls, those survival balls, for myself and my, my family here, so that we could, maybe get inside the tsunami ball and ride it out. You know what I mean? I always have crazy thoughts like that, but whatever the case, we're going to deal with what we deal with when we have to deal with it, But there are so many things that most of us really don't think about. We just go through life, without a care in the world. And it's good to be able to live stress-free like that. We can't worry about everything. There's so many things that could take us out. But I say that to say this. Enjoy your life. Be grateful. Be thankful that you have today. Because tomorrow's not guaranteed. You know what I mean? I'm 60 years old now. I feel like I've lived a full life. I've done a lot of stuff in my life. I've probably done more than most people will ever do. I've definitely had so many memorable experiences in life, and I don't regret anything. I'm very happy and content with where I am now in life, and I continue to live every day with all the joy and gratefulness I can. There was a time when I was like, man, it's me against the world, and shit's fucked up, and I don't know what the next step is going to be. But now, fuck it, man, just live life. Enjoy every day, because we never know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes. I mean, realize this. When you look up at the sun, you're looking back in time 8.5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So if the sun has exploded, you're not going to know until 8.5 minutes later. So this shit could all be gone within the next 8.5 minutes. Really, and as far-fetched as it may sound, that's a fact. We are so tiny and insignificant in this universe, in this solar system. So let's just learn how to all get along. Let's learn how to live together. Let's learn how to just enjoy life, man. Because life is too short and life is too precious for us to be stressing out about shit that's beyond our control. Life is too short for us to be bickering and fighting and disagreeing about every little fucking thing that goes on here on Earth. This is it. We got no place else to go, y'all. There's no place else that we can go to live. Earth is it. This is it. Be thankful. Be happy. All right, so let me get to this. I will talk to y'all later tonight on my evening broadcast tonight around 10. Could be a little later, but I will be on tonight. So thank you for joining in. I'm your man, Ken Jackson. This has been Coffee with Ken. I will catch y'all next time. Peace.